People of planet Tierra. This is Arctic Central, Galactic Central, heaven on Earth, and hooked into Inner Earth Portal, or the new creation. And plasmatically, galactically, I am still being infiltrated and infested by the dark alien cabal losers who want to make pretend that they are my relative, which I've been trying to, forgive and understand for the longest time. And it is largely due to their inability to comprehend the truth. Meaning, if you go through a child on, a swamp, and you have him born and just throw him in nature, they say that they will create a god if you don't tell them about God. So then we told you about Goddess. Since my birth, it's always been the same scenario. I've always had not only girls, but also dudes of all ages since I'm a kid. They're addicted to me. Even my pets were addicted to me. So I gave up having pets long time ago. Long time ago. My last cat I had to deprogram from being addicted to me. I held it. My last cat's name, not I had cats after that cat, but that was Kuwait. And he was called Poochie, and he was very addicted to me, dangerously so. So I held it, and he was in complete awe of me and trust, like full trust me. So I held it. It was looking in my eyes like mesmerized, and I was bothered, like it was too much. So I was just like spinning it around, looking into its eyes, and it trusted me completely, eternally, and beyond measure. So then I just let it go in the middle of the spin, and he looked at me like razzled from the floor because he had already the brain spin of his liquids. He lands on the floor, and he was in disbelief at how I let it go, how I wasn't all the way nurturing and mothering to it like normally they know I am. And then I was forcing it to, not sleep in my bed. Like I would just keep it out my door during the night. And it's too much. And then every time we had sandstorms in Kuwait, because like in Kuwait, next thing you know, there's like the whole atmosphere becomes orange because we have sandstorms all the time. So once we had sandstorms, I would like leave JWT, go all the way to Salmiya, to my house, pick up my cat, and drop it off at Johnny and Ahmed, whom I heard of not long ago. Ahmed. I don't know what happened to Johnny. What happened to Johnny, guys? What? Is he still alive? So they renamed my cat like Mohammed or Ahmed or something, from Poochie to that. So that's what happens when you're too addicted to me. You get you gotta step down a notch, because you gotta be you first, honeys. I'm not here to cover for anyone, let alone the dark alien infestation. And literally, I tell you now, if you were real, you wouldn't have to use these means on me. So another point I need to make in regards to masculines of the United States of America and of the world: you guys are worthy beings, and you're all being raped. So if you guys are programmed, which you are, to think that it is so cool to service girls sexually, and that makes you like, oh my goodness, so cool, it's not. You're being used and raped. You are worthy. You should have them pay for your seed. If she's on her force sucking your dick, it doesn't give you prowess and pride, and it doesn't give you honor and glory and something to be proud of yourself for. No, you are being drained out your like curriculum vitae and vitale, like your own lymph and blood, and you're feeding. You don't know what their purposes are. You think that every person who has long hair and soft skin is nice because she's a girl, because girls are nice. That's not how it is. A lot of them are walk-ins. They have like entities from dark realms that just take over, walk into their bodies. If they don't have a strong soul, a strong belonging to Jesus, they're nobodies. They're Gentiles. They're nothing. And once you're that, any demon can possess you. They'll just walk straight into you and use your vessel for the dark alien's agenda of making you a cabal trash tramp whore on your fours, sucking dick, to take and usurp the power of the tree of life and rotate it downwards in a downward spiral, eternally devolving creation, which is happening. So now it seems to be like all men in creation think that, oh, yeah, I got lucky last night, man. She fucked me like, oh my God, she sucked my dick. Yeah, that's not cool. You're an idiot. You're a goddamn bloody fucking idiot if you think these ways. That's not human. You're selling your soul to the dark alien cabals. That's the fucking Eve timeline. They tell you about it first page of the gospel. What not to do. But you don't get it. And then they take you through all the stupid lineages of, oh, Hashem's son was Berez. Berez's son was Ayuhabab. Ayuhabab's son was this. This son was that. And then they give you all the name of the idiot sinners and all their stories. This idiot slept with her dad and her sister. They went and they tricked the dad while he was sleeping. And each of them fucked him on a different night. And they're both pregnant with the dad's kid. Like, all these stories of the gospel, they tell you how dumb the dark alien infiltration is, and you guys are still playing the same goddamn game every day. Like cheering on to the dark aliens and then, oh my God, proudly wearing masks for the stupid COVID. Oh, we are so dark that now we all wear masks as idiots. I don't know what that is. I was there the whole show. But do they mention Aurora in the gospel? God forbid they do. That's the whole point of the purpose of the gospel. And then it got reinforced by the Quran. And then the Quran said, oh, well, if the prophets don't want to mention Aurora, we're going to create MK Ultra Book 2 to then steal her from you guys. And as a matter of fact, I was telling you yesterday, and this I'm going to do real quick because then I have a lot of things to do. And today I'm going to figure out how to type my transcript. So what's going on is, when the Ribat family, which is the relatives of the Prophet Muhammad, like they're literally the same blood, just like I'm the blood of Jesus, and nobody can be my clone sister fraud whore, literally, because you're not me, honey. You don't have my values, you don't have my genome, and no matter how much blood you guys, like how much bloodlust you use on me, and how much blood you've stolen, and how much DNA, and how much hair follicles, and how much, saliva you've stolen, and how much dick you got fucked with after they penetrated me, and that's what you strive on and you hold yourself proud of. You're a dark alien hooker that is manipulating a lot of boys that I care for. Way much more than I could ever care for the dark alien hoes. Because I got very clear visions in Hollywood at that high school that day when they closed my website, that these clonatic nigger whores, they're not even human. It's as if you get a balloon alien girl from God knows where, you bring it down here and you make it wear a human mask and it parades around as me. Because if they were real, they would never try to make pretend they're my clone sister or that they have my name and number. If they were real, they would be real. But they're not. So I don't know why all you men are bowing to the dark alien nigger whores, because that is dark alien shit is very dangerous. But I do know why you guys are doing it, because you're all being used as bait for the dark alien hookers that come through female bodies. They're not even femme in nature, these hookers. They're hermaphrodite. They're just incubus, succubus, whore spirits that are not even of Christ. They're not even of God. They come from other realms, and their only sole mission is to slave men using their dicks and using the programming of the gospel, whereby everybody now has to wear clothes and everybody has to judge each other and go to confession. And that's like modified meaning. And I tell you all, book sessions, but you don't do it because you think that a session means that I'm going to be sexually involved with you or whatnot, which it doesn't. As I said, a session has to be given to all in creation. And sorry, not sorry, but nobody else can give it. Because all of you else are playing a stupid game with the dark alien turds that have the walk-ins. There's fallen entities, not only in humanoids, in pets. A lot of the dogs have fallen entities. They have, you see it in the eyes, you know. And most of them, like the dogs, they're like failed humans. Like when you come on term in service to love, and if you can't be in service to love and you're in service to the dark aliens instead, well, you're going to come back in the body of a dog to be, you know, owned by some dark aliens, so you learn your goddamn lesson. That's how things work. So, you know, all you dog keepers who think that, and then they go to doctors and the doctors write them a prescription to keep the dog. If you came to me, I would chop cords with this bullshit and tell you to get rid of this stuff and face yourself for face value. Just like I would tell the clonatic people to get rid of your illusion, never ever have access to watching me, getting fucked in my name or any of this shit. Send them off and go find your own self. You think she's gonna stay me if you send her off and don't let her monitor me all day? No. The only reason this is like you're playing a Hollywood game of the false Hollywood, but I'm reclaiming Hollywood because it's Holywood is what it is. I got all the visions of all the angels in white singing songs to Christ. Two Easters ago, 2019, when I painted my rebaptism resurrection by Lucifer himself. He came to my room and he came through all of me, and it was starting to reverberate. I became it. I became it that day in my hostel room, and I painted myself for face value, and then they stole my painting. Oh, and then they stole it again from the Miami hostel where I got my Morning Star. And then they returned it through the personnel, because all the personnel is also, everybody is serving the dark aliens. Like everybody doesn't know. But you all know, you have remembrance. You know. So the Muhammad rebirth comes into my home with a dad and has me take down all the art, and then they tell me so much about Muhammad, and I couldn't mention the word Jesus to David because he would have a stroke. He hates Jesus because he thinks that he has to beat Jesus because Jesus is a rock star and David from the Torah is Hashem's slave. And he really is Hashem's slave. When we walked into Mel Hashem's home, he became her slave. Right then and there. So he cannot break free from the Hashem programming unless he goes to Jesus. But he still doesn't get it. So I had to call him twice. So Muhammad Ribat comes in, and the dad, and they tell me, take off all the art. We do. They don't eat normal food. Hi, love. Aww. So there's cute people now telling me hello. Music is life. Life is music. So that's what's going on, everyone. My night was okay, honey. I didn't dream of anything. I'm only like still fighting off dark cabals, as you notice, babe. So what else? Thank God for you, honey. Honestly, he was such a game changer in Shasta. Like, I love you. That's all I can say. He changed the whole like tone of the game. He changed the like Abomination of Love by Andrew chapter, and then Ice Cold, Rigid, Frigid, Runaway Love by Russell Pearson. Hup! If you don't leave Mission House, Amy's comatose. And then he sends me a love letter, then he fucks other hoes in Texas. Oh my God. And then Jonah's like, hey. And then he's like, now show your face on camera and fuck them all. I'm like, okay. So we're still doing it. Cheers. Then what happened? So there we just took down the paintings, and as I told you, the Islamists, you know, they're very Puritarians. They only eat like herbs and only eat together in the caravan. They never ever share food with others, and you know, they pray 5 times a day, and every time they pray they have to like wash between their fingers, so they have very like high height whatever la. And so Like, their presence in my house had me, like, literally, I just crumbled. Like, my whole world shifted very quickly. I had to go to the room, change my clothing, because in Sarasota I was always in a bathing suit. I never ever in my life wore clothes. I went to every store in a bathing suit, barefoot. I rode my bike on it. I was an island girl. Then this is an island, but if you do that, oh, you're a trash prostitute. No, honey, I'm an island girl. I grew up on an island. What can I do? But no, here they're like stuck up. They have a stick up their little bosoms. I don't know why. So I'm always in the wrong here. Whatever I do, it's always wrong. Always. I'm always making mistakes. So took off the art, and next thing you know, then they left the house, and the dad became my spiritual guru for Islam. And they told me to not call the Wahhabiyun in Saudi, but obviously when someone tells me not to do something, I'm going to call the Wahhabiyun. And I called not only the Wahhabiyun, I called the main mosque in Islamabad, which is my church. That's why I did it, because my church is Saudi. I love Saudi. I love Saudi. Cheers to all my Saudis. But when I'm Kuwait, I'm too good for you all. That's the game. So I called the mosque and I did the Shahada, meaning I became a Muslim. I did the, Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadun abduhu wa rasuluh. All you gotta do is say this, bathe in water, and there you go, you're Muslim. Okay, that's just one sentence and then you become Muslim. And of course I'm a nerd, so I had to read the whole Quran cover to cover, which they sent me from the Saudi temple there, like the main mosque with the Kaaba right there. They sent me all the material and every like science book, because they're they're scientists, and it explains to you very clearly how like a walnut is shaped like a brain. So how every if you eat walnuts, it's good for the brain. Then and avocados like a uterus, so avocado is good for the uterus. Like they have little innuendos for life on Earth, and it's a very rational science. Like there's no such thing as like extreme fear in the Quran that I saw, except there's one thing that really hurt my heart. Like every time I heard it, it like would hurt me so much. And it goes وَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا أَنَّ, meaning those that say that Jesus is the Son of God are sinners or whatever. And because I'm like all the way gamer girl, at that point I said to Jesus, honey, you gotta give me a break here, So I wore my veil in Sarasota. I swear to Jesus, you guys, I wore a veil. I went from an island girl, and because like they, I had an anklet bracelet anyway with a bathing suit, so my anklet bracelet would like make noise sometimes in the store, like attention, attention, attention is like motherfucker, it was really, really fucked up. When the battery was low or whatnot, like people were like, that was scary. That's when they started the COVID also 6 feet apart, because nobody wanted to be near it, right? So after they did the inner cell whatever for the October 5 COVID, then they had me in an anklet bracelet, so everybody goes like away from me, which really happened. That's the social distancing. And then they keep you home, because now you have to relive my journey by force, because that's how you welcomed me, instead of just giving me the red carpet treatment. So then next thing you know, I'm reading the Quran page to page, I'm wearing the veil, and I'm worshiping Allah 5 times a day. So there's like dawn, like 5, then 11, then 1, then 5 p.m., then like the 7 p.m. mass, and each one of them has different tonalities and different things you say and different movements and motions and different time you do the rak'ah. Now what's really cool about Islam is It's kind of like a yoga thing. It's a discipline. That's how, they disciplined the people of the desert and had them not eat pig because it was infested in the heat. They would die if they ate pork. That's what it's really based on, science. And then once you do the like standing halfway like standing, then whatever, like you just bow the back and then back up, then you go on your knees and you bow the back forward, and then you go back in seated position with the back straight, and then back down, and then back up, back standing. All this is like chi flow accelerator. It's a protonic accelerator is what it was. So first of all, I became very disciplined, very sharp, and I was calling David out for everything he did. Because once you're a Jesus person, it's like, oh, turn the other cheek. And I was like, my plasma was losing. I was not well. I was starting to become very like aggressive and yell, because he never stopped yelling. Like David, the Torah God, he hates everything, okay? The only thing he can dig is Hashem. He's a slave. That's why he hates his life. So with the Jesus thing, like I kept being nice, and then when the Muslim thing happened, I was like, leave! I'm alone with God, with Allah now. Yeah, you're not above God. Fuck off and go, bitch. And then I closed the door and I wore my veil, and I'm like, because then he debased me, fucked me up with my family, rendered me homeless, and then the veil became my home. It's like, no, I don't need you. And I'm not even living here. I'm living under God with my veil, because I was a married woman, and we were like fighting hard. Like we were at war all the time for space, for everything, for power, for energy. It was an actual war. My marriage was a war. So he would leave the house to the siesta market. Otherwise, he was always around me 24, following me around and yelling. That was my marriage, literally. And then he shifted to the other personality, and he'd go like, tough love, and he would like start to be so sweet, but then the next minute he's like Jekyll and Hyde all the time. That was like my marriage. So when I did the Allah thing, he got so pissed off, because the Allah thing is unbeatable. Like you can't fuck in MK Ultra, you can't really fuck with it. So whatever he did, I would shut him up. And my neighbors in Sarasota got so irritated, they would throw tomatoes at my window because I would be like playing the Quran out loud very loud all the damn day, like Allah ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah, and I would walk around with my veil, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, motherfuckers, you put an actual bracelet on me, take this. And then they became even more scared of me. So then Connie Zacher, the real estate agent, is like, oh, you can't be on my property if you're doing this act. You gotta leave. And then she placed us, when the Millers bought my house, she placed us in this like little unit with moss, green moss. And David got even more enraged. That's when the Ashley thing began next door. Like, Ashley. She was my neighbor from Pop Tardia. And I had to teach her how to clean, because she didn't know how to do nothing. All she knew is just fight with Brad and, then just react. And she never even went to the beach. She never did anything. And she tried to make me lesbian. She's like, oh, I see you so well work in Victoria's Secret with a lot of girls. No, you don't understand me, honey. That's not my system. So then I had to take it easy on the veil in the next location, but I still did it. And then when I finally found my own place at Redwood Street, Department F, I had gotten the green card just because I had shifted to Islam, because Iran and Iran rules America. America is actually Islam. I came in Obama days, so I had to turn Muslim to get a green card. If not, I would have been probably deported. That's the truth. I'm not lying to you guys. Like, Jesus is not that kosher in America. That's why now I'm fighting for Jesus so hard, because then when I did my baptism, again, away from the Catholics with the non-denominationals, I got a lot of gifts. But the humans had stolen most of my gifts because they force baptized a nigger with me, and they had kept me at the Metropolitan paying religiously with a next bed next to me, and now they have dumbed down all the masculines because of this nigger infestation of the fake, trash tramp soulless girls who want to make pretend at all costs that not only do they have a soul, but they're my twin sister. Oh, yeah, right. As if like you're not a copycat. No, honey. A copycat is not a twin sister. You gotta get it. That's all. So that's basically it. And then I just need to tell you guys before this ends how the Ribat story, forwarded forward. So then I entered Earth Origins. I had a veil at first when I started to work. And I asked them, they put me in, a cross hatched, like on the floor with all these people. So I was a cross training under that was my title as an associate. And then I'm like, I want to go there. I wanted to be, with all the fruits and vegetables and the herbs. And I did it all. Like every wrap, I did 70 wraps a day. Like they never, ever, ever, ever sold as much food as they did as when I was there. I fed everyone on top of their lungs. Like I made sure everybody was well fed and very happy, and they all worshipped me. I was goddess. Like that's beyond words. And you can still ask all Sarasota, they will never forget my service. Then years later they tricked me with a Jason thing, brought me here, and it took lots of years for me to reconnect with the Ribat people. So then I went through the baptism, I went to Shasta, came back, they stole my citizenship for the clone nigger fucking dark alien infestation, la la la. And then I ended up, leaving the Stephen house to go to Wexford because of the Haley thing. And then the bartender at Enchiladas was Haley. And, Michael Iaquinta was playing. He's like, oh, don't come down from your front porch. Meet me next door. Like he was stealing me from Steve. It was all a game. But like they stole him too. And I was getting sick. So I just left, and I went against all my principles just to hurt Steven in the worst of ways, which I did. I hurt him in the worst of ways, which was enough for me at that point in time, because I was like sitting in the restroom with the lights off, crying the whole day basically, while he was with Cordoba or whoever he was with. Disgusting. And being fed shit about me, like lack, and then he programmed himself to forget me, like David did. They're so sad. Then they choose alien girls to justify their wrong action of having shared their penises when it was uncalled for. You can't do that when you're with a goddess. You don't fuck a dark alien trash tramp to try to make me sick. You don't do that. That's simple. So whoever my twin flame now is next door, who's fucking this clone in my name and who's having people on YouTube ask for my tit reveal, you're a nigger, You can't meet me unless you drop the shit. You tell her off, you tell her to go home to mommy, and then you come talk to me like a man. But I'm not gonna be anybody's like, oh, we're besties, yeah, now I'm friends with the dark alien nigger. No. It's never gonna happen. Not over my dead body. If you paid me now $1 billion to put this show on, I would tear up the contract and walk off. I would rather stay under the tree for the next eons than do this trash tramp shit with the dark alien niggers. I'm not you, honey. I'm not a guy. I don't have a dick. I never had a dick. I'm very sorry somebody forced you to say that about me. It never happened. Sorry, not sorry. Period. The end. So I was in Wexford, and then Michael was out to Chicago with his family, and I had a very strong signal about like the Ribat. I had a transmission in my room. I was meditating, so I don't know how we got in touch. And then next thing you know, I was going down to Silver Springs, Florida, and I did. And when I was met in Florida first, when I came down the like bus, and I arrived in Florida, my home, Florida was like, oh, is that you? Like everybody knows me in Florida. I'm a superstar in Florida. Like I was married to a Hollywood movie producer, and I was the hardest working thing they've ever met. They're like, are you on heroin? I'm like, no, why? I had never done like hard drugs at that point. They're like, you're very sick. What is wrong with you? that's when Stephen made me very, very sick. I was not well. My plasma wasn't well. My face wasn't well. I was disfigured. I was weak. I was barely even able to breathe. I had to walk with the Ribat from like Silver Springs stop. Like we walked for miles to get to where we, pitched a tent that night. Now I gave the guy a session and still he couldn't get it. He's like, are you my wife or my slave? Because that's the conditioning of Islam. And I had already transmuted Islam long ago, because then over Islam I read the gospel cover to cover and I understood all about the resurrection, and then I got my resurrection, I got my Archaea name and my covenant. So I was already fully Christed when I met Islam again, and then I took them onwards and I'm like, you got to forget about Allah because I am goddess. And then I'm like, I not your wife, not your slave, I am Aurora, mother of new creation. But they can't get it. They cannot. In their ego mind program, it's very tough for a Muslim to believe what I'm saying, because their belief system is very tough. Just like the Christians, they all now want to prove at court that I'm not Christ consciousness and I'm not here, and my sessions don't provide you with Christ consciousness. But